Hey everybody, we are What If Sportscast. I'm Tim, and with me as always is Kyle, and we have a weird one today. It's a different one than we've done in the past.
Welcome to the show. Like Tim said, this week we're going to be talking about what if the NBA actually fixed all their problems, and they have a lot of them. They'll probably never fix all of them, but
we probably won't even touch all of the problems that people think that there is in the NBA today, honestly. But these are just some big ones that you hear about a lot, and we'll see.
Me and Tim, I feel like, huge supporters of the NBA. We watch probably every single night, or most games. We're huge Denver Nuggets fans.
Especially every Nuggets game.
Yeah.
I mean, especially during the playoffs, I'm watching at least a part of a game or looking at the scores and stuff. So we're a big NBA fan. So it's not like we're just baseball, football, or something like that, and NBA sucks kind of thing.
Yep.
I would say the NBA is my biggest for sure.
I would too.
So one of the biggest ones is just like the fan frustration with players sitting, the officiating. There's a lot of different things, you know? I mean, one of my biggest ones, and I've been saying this all year, is the review that you can only challenge two, and you can only challenge one. If you get that one right, you get in a second challenge.
Yeah.
If you get that wrong, you don't have any more challenges.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that I want them to have 500 challenges by any means. However, there's a lot of plays that should probably be challenged that is a big play.
Yeah.
But teams and coaches will not because, it's in the first quarter. And so let's not do that kind of thing.
Which, going into that, it's like those first quarter and second quarter mistakes can be a big factor in the game. A lot of people look at the final 2 minutes and see like, if there's a missed call or a controversial call that, hey, that decided it, but it could very well be the play that happened in the second quarter or something that led to it more or something like that. Every single play and every single possession leads up to the outcome of the game, which... And it's kind of like a double-edged sword because people's, they can't focus for that long.
Yeah.
I can't think of the word, but they lose focus after so many, like 17 seconds or something like that, that people lose focus. So, I mean, you don't want to extend the game to where, all right, now a 2-hour game is dragged on to 2.5 hours or 3 hours.
Well, and that's where it's tough because with these challenges and stuff, obviously you're going to add time to the game, but you also want the game to be correct. And I don't know, it's not even like out of bounds there. And there's times that I've yelled at the Nuggets, like, why are you challenging this? This is an out of bounds play. Yeah. So they didn't even score. Yes, it could be our ball, but this is 10 minutes left in the second quarter.
Yeah.
Whereas, is it really that big of a deal? Like, yes, you're obviously, when you're challenging that, you're going to win because if you don't win that, then that's really bad on an out of bounds. But it's just like, why? Why are you going to challenge that? And then you only have one more no matter what left. Whereas I think it's more, you have to look at the situational, but plus like the impact in the game. So say Jokic and the Nuggets gets his third foul in the first quarter. Yeah. And you're like, oh man, I don't know about that. Well, all right, you want to challenge that at that time, even though it's early on, because, man, if that's not a foul, that's a big thing because he's sitting down like there. Yeah. Even his second, honestly, in the first quarter. And so I think it just depends and stuff. And so that's one of the biggest ones for me. And like you were saying, the last 2 minutes, they have that report, but nothing comes out of it.
Exactly. So the league came out with the 2-minute report, basically, I think, in a way to back up the referees and say, hey, we're actually pretty good. Because of the 2-minute report, it's like a 90% accuracy that they found, but nothing ever happens to the 10%. Like the referees that get 10%. And a big problem, I think, in the NBA right now is players and coaches can get these ridiculous heavy fines for calling out the refs, but the refs aren't getting anything.
They don't get any. And I'm sure if they were like extremely bad, they're obviously not going to schedule them anymore. I guess I don't know exactly how it is, but you never hear about anything, and it's tough because refs are going to make mistakes. There's no way that a ref will not make a mistake at some point in the game. You're just wanting it not to be in those big moments or anything like that. And for me, it's not even necessarily how they make a mistake. It's the consistency.
Yeah.
You know? And so you want, for me, I want it to be consistent throughout the entire game. So if you're going to call this in the first quarter, you're calling that in the fourth quarter.
Exactly.
And so forth. And so it's tough because how do you find a ref when you're like, hey, maybe he just wasn't in the great, like the position for that, even though he was in the correct position, it's not what he saw. And so, but
I think positioning comes a huge play into it, which brings up the question of, hey, if you can't accurately call like a game with 3 referees, maybe you need 6 referees. Maybe you need like
add a fourth referee.
Like maybe one under each basket, and then kind of how like NHL does it, where 2 like on the sides and then 2 more on the sides, and so that it's like 3 per half, like per half of the court.
Yeah,
it's like, and you're just looking. Okay, I'm only having to look because referees, they have to keep up with the pace of play, which is increased dramatically.
It could adding one more ref maybe. I think a big thing, because the calls that you usually remember are in the last 2 minutes, and so I think a review, like a booth review, could be a good thing, like they do in the NFL. I think that could be a good thing. And like I said, I think the coaches should get also
additional challenges.
Obviously you don't want them, because if they had unlimited, they're going to just keep doing it. But maybe if you continue to get them correct, like you can get up to 6, but if you get one wrong,
you're done.
You're done.
Like,
you get 2 no matter what, but if you get one wrong, that's all you're getting is the 2. Something like that maybe. I don't know. It's a tough thing, and I don't know. Like, I think if they fix that, because a lot of people are saying that all-stars get certain calls and not others.
Which is dumb. Like, hey, if it's a foul on whether it's Jokic or whether it's Will Johnson.
Who's Will Johnson?
Who knows? But
I mean, maybe Peyton Watson just to give somebody.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I get you. Even like say Jokic compared to Jamal, even kind of like that would be different kind of thing.
Yeah.
But even like Jokic to LeBron James or any of these other, like Shea gets a very good whistle.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Jokic kind of gets beat up a little bit more, but also Jokic is doing he is also more physical. And so you have to call it a little different, but it drives me crazy. If it's a foul, call a foul. But even if you're letting a couple things go, let that go on both sides and the whole game. It shouldn't be because it's on this player, on that player. And even the like announcers, they'll say, oh, well, that's a rookie. He's not getting that call. Why?
Like, why?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, he hasn't put his time in. So he's going to get clobbered, but this guy that's played for 15 years, he's going to get the call?
Yeah.
It drives me crazy.
And then another thing that makes no sense to me is, so regular season and playoffs are pretty drastic, too, in the amount of calls that you have. Like, regular season, you'll have a lot more or a lot less calls on average.
Which is crazy to me, because I would think it actually is the opposite, because I feel like they actually let them play a little bit more in the playoffs.
Yeah, but it's opposite in the sense of, hey, you're wanting, it's almost like playoffs, we want people to be more physical, but hey, we're going to call more fouls on you if you are more physical. Yeah. So it's like, and players have gotten so used to, hey, we've played 82 games this regular season, we've got used to how officiating is, and then all of a sudden in the playoffs, they're
letting some stuff go,
different.
but not,
Yeah. So it's like, all right, you almost have to throw everything that happened in the regular season out the window, and who knows what.
It can even change by series too. It's just,
it can change by game.
I don't know how they would change it, but if they would, I think it would actually bring more fans to it, because there's a lot of, especially like casual / not really, like just very, like they kind of know what's going on fans. I don't know what you'd call them.
Yeah.
If they didn't see that, well, even like a little less than casual.
Yeah.
If they see something and they're like, wow, that's like a complete flop or something like that, they're going to turn it off. Whereas like we keep watching, but those fans, I think you would get more. I just don't know exactly how to fix it, but I think it would actually help the NBA a lot. You were also saying like with the 82 games, there's so many they've been playing. the load management is a big issue in the NBA, and they've tried to change this.
Yep.
They've put in stuff where you can't get awards, you can't get first, second, third team MBAs. You can't get any of the MVPs and stuff if you play. I think it's 68 games at minimum you have to play.
Yeah, 68.
And so you can still miss 14 games, which in 82 games, it's not a crazy amount, but at the same time, that's still quite a bit of games you can miss. They've tried to fine teams, but they fine them like 100,000. Like the 76ers this year for sitting Embiid and George got fined 100,000. Yep. That's like $5 for me and you.
Exactly.
Actually, maybe even less than that.
Exactly.
$1. Okay, here you go. Here's $100,000. And obviously they don't want to pay it, but it's not that big of a deal. And so these fans are getting so mad when they go to games. They pay hundreds of dollars to go to these games, especially to see these stars. And then you find out an hour, 2 hours before, oh, they're not playing.
Yeah. It's extremely infuriating as a fan because it's like, and I feel like most of these injuries, you never know if it's real or if it's made up too.
Well, and then you start hating players.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely players that I'm like, I do not like him because he's always hurt. Like Embiid, never plays in Denver. Maybe he actually is really hurt.
Maybe.
And we don't know. But I will tell you, I have said it multiple times, both of us, and we've talked about it with other people, that it's like, dude, he is a wuss. Yeah. But we don't know because it's stuff like this that it's like you don't even know if they're actually hurt or if it's like, all right, he's ducking Jokic, he's resting, but his knee hurts. And his knees hurt his entire career.
Yeah.
And so you can pretty much, I mean, I'm not an NBA player and my knee hurts every day. Yeah.
And it just makes it even worse that, all right, they sit out and they're out for this game, but then 2 days later they play and drop 30 or something like that.
Or the next night or something like that.
They play like Charlotte and just go off or whatever.
It's just
so it's just like, so I think the only way to maybe fix that is, hey, if you're going to miss a game, you have to miss a maximum of a minimum of 3 games or something like that. You can't just,
we're
going to sit against Cleveland or OKC.
But it's tough because
and then we're going to play against.
It is tough because there's times that people say they have a strained muscle or something where it's like, all right, hey, they should probably take off this game. Yeah. But they don't need, because sometimes it's 3 games in a week. They don't need a week off, but all right, they probably should take a rest on this day kind of thing.
Or maybe bring in a neutral doctor of, hey, analyze the actual injury or something. I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas because I don't think the NBA, they'll never go down to a shorter season. They'll never go from 58
See, a lot
to
of
80.
people think that because a lot of people say that the NBA season starts after Christmas.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say that the games aren't necessarily less intense because before Christmas, they can be. They can be. It's not like every single one, but you're not getting those playoff atmospheres. Even right after Christmas, it's not that big of a difference. It's really after the trade deadline. Yep. That's when, all right, we're starting to play because we need these different seatings and different stuff like that. And you're trying to get everybody together and all this. And so Christmas does really hey, that's a big one for the NBA. But I personally don't think 82 games is a crazy amount. And they say that, hey, that'll do the load management. But say they go down to 70 games, drop 12 off.
Yeah.
All right, then they're still going to be doing load management.
Yeah.
It's just
I think the only thing you'd have to move something to 58. 58 would mean, hey, you play every single team twice. And that's just way too low. Owners are going to lose a lot of money because there's less games.
You're not going to drop it down because you're losing money. Yeah. Every game that you drop down, you're losing money. And so
they tried to kind of change it with the in-season tournament of, hey, maybe at least have these games matter more. Mm-hmm. So, hey, you could sit every single game. We don't care, but play these 6 games.
Well, and it has worked. There has been, those games have been more intense. I will give them that. I think the in-season tournament is cool. It honestly, the first year with the Lakers winning was probably the worst thing because everybody's like, oh, now the Lakers are making a big deal out of this and it's nothing. But say the Nuggets would have won that. I would have been stoked.
I would have been pumped. Yeah.
Like, I would have been so cool. It's the same kind of thing with the bubble. Everybody, they're like, oh, LeBron has this many championships, but one was in the bubble, so they don't count it. And
it's like,
and even like they were talking about Jamal Murray the other night on the broadcast. It's like, oh yeah, but this was in the bubble. All right.
Like,
if the Nuggets would have won that championship, hey, I'm getting stuff. You know, hey, we won the championship.
Exactly.
Like, and I get it's different, but it's not like it was different for each team. Every single team had the same thing. And for me, I think one of the biggest things for the Nuggets, at least, is that we play at altitude. So that was actually a disadvantage for us, per se, kind of thing. And so it's...
I think the thing with the bubble is just because the Lakers have won so many.
And that's why. So if it wasn't the Lakers, I don't think it would be as big of a deal.
I think if it was the Lakers, if it was Boston...
Even
Boston, I think, would have got the same thing.
The biggest thing is LeBron James, MJ. That's what they're talking. And so they're like, well, you don't count that because that was in the bubble.
Yeah.
But if it was somebody else where they're not being compared to MJ, I don't think. But so, I don't know.
I think it's stupid. But
I don't know. It's frustrating because I know when we go to the games, I will go to the game no matter who's playing. Mm-hmm. But when we go to the games, I want to see the top players playing as well.
Yeah.
But I also don't want us to drop down 15 games in the year. It's nice for us because Jokic pretty much plays.
Yeah.
Very rare. Well, it's tough to say because I was going to say very rarely he rests.
Yeah.
However, we don't know when he does. This year, he's missed the most games, and he did have that injury. He was out for a few weeks, but the other one was the birth of his daughter or his son.
Yeah.
And so I get that. Other than that, and in his career, he has missed maybe 1 or 2 games. And I get that. Okay. I get if a player, hey, we've played a lot lately. He's played a lot of minutes. Let's give him 1 or 2 games here and there.
Yeah.
That is fine with me. And I think that's where the NBA is trying to get where, hey, you can miss some of these games and we get you're injured. It's a long season. There's a lot of battling. You can miss up to 14 games.
Yeah.
But how do you really do that? Because now you see some of these players, they don't really care.
Yeah. It's honestly like they probably look at the first 20 games and be like, all right, well, I'm probably not going to win any of those awards anyway. So, I might as well just play here and there.
Yeah.
Like,
I almost want to say after you miss 7 games, maybe after you miss 7 games, you start getting fined per game you miss, unless you're out for like three or more games in a row kind of thing.
Yeah.
So if you're just missing 1 game or something, you start getting fined, or the team starts getting fined or something like that.
Or you make it to where it's like, hey, the teams can go back on your contract and be like, hey.
Yeah, but I think part of it's the teams. It's not even, it's not that. It's because the teams, I guarantee you that they're saying, no, hey, rest them. We don't need that, you know? Yeah. And so it's not even like the team would go back on the contract. It has to be for that, the team and the player. So maybe draft picks. Maybe they get fined, the player gets fined, draft picks get taken away or something like that. Or no matter what, you get moved to the back or something. I don't know. But I wish they would change that. And I guarantee you people are listening to this and they're like, these guys are whack. They don't know what they're saying. They're babbling. They're just going on about stupid little things.
I mean, we talked about it, that this would be a probably tough topic to talk about. But, I mean, I think we're not the only ones that are like that. TV ratings for the regular season were down 2%, which that might not sound like a lot, but, hey, for NBA, that's a lot.
You're talking probably a few million like views kind of thing.
And I just feel like this year it seems like there's way more blowouts. There's way more, like especially even in the playoffs. Like playoffs ratings have gone up. They were up 13%, I read, in the first round. They're down, I think, now to 6%.
I think the Western Conference, especially in the first, well, even the Eastern Conference. I mean, that Knicks and Pistons series was a great series. There's been great basketball in these playoffs, honestly.
There has.
And the Nuggets and
Clippers.
OKC, other than but like this round 2, That's a great series other than game 2.
Yeah.
Boston, Indiana. And it's funny because these games, like the Boston, Indiana, the games have not been good. Boston has been over.
Knicks, or the Boston Knicks
Boston,
series?
Indiana. Boston Pacers.
Yeah, but Boston is playing Knicks. Indiana is playing Cleveland.
Sorry. Boston and Knicks,
Yeah.
they have not been good games.
Until,
However,
like,
the
final
Knicks
quarter.
make it fun. Same thing with the Pacers and Cavs. Cavs should have won all of these games.
Exactly.
Have not been good games. They've been blowing out the Pacers.
Yep.
Then Tyrese Halliburton picks it up.
Yeah.
And, oh my gosh, these are amazing. And so I think that helps with some of the ratings in the playoffs. But
I feel like there's people that they're almost box score watching.
I guarantee you.
Okay, the game's kind of getting good. I'll turn it on now.
I mean, I'll say I've done that.
Yeah, I've done it
And
too.
so Nuggets, no. But in other games, it's like, wow, man, this is a 5-point game with 2 minutes left. I'm going to throw it on or something like that, you know?
But yeah, it just seems like there's way more.
Well, and that brings it back
blowouts.
to the play. The one other big thing is playoff seeding. People say, they're like, should they go back? Because they did this in the past where it was the top conference or the top division, the division winners, no matter what, were in the top 4 seeds. So they got home court in the first round.
Yep.
Okay, I get it. And usually I would say the division winner more than likely is going to be in the top 4 anyways.
Yeah.
So
that would have been different. Denver wouldn't be top 4.
No, but they would have been the 4th.
Yeah.
Because they would have still been up there, I believe, right? I don't even know the divisions. I can't think of
Denver
the
and
divisions.
OKC are in the same division.
Yeah, I know, but they would have been a 4th seed then. Because Houston's in their own division, and I think the Lakers are in the other division, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we would have been the 4th seed. Yeah, so
you're right.
It's more if a division winner is like 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and then they would get up top. And it didn't happen very often, so I don't know if that would really help. I kind of think I would love for them to get rid of the divisions and play 1 versus 16. I think that would be cool.
I think that would be my biggest dream of just, hey, keep the conferences and stuff for like regular season, but come playoffs, it's just, all right, the number 1 seed versus the number 16 seed, whether that's West versus West or East versus East.
And they could say something where it's the home court advantage. They could do something like that with the East and West because it's like, why have conferences at all then? Why have divisions at all? So there's got to be something. Yeah. But I think that would be cool.
I think it would
Or even if like maybe after the first round you reseed and then you go, instead of like you play like the next, then you go the top first, like the next 8 teams, whoever's still the top versus the 8th seed.
But the biggest, like that would change a lot because probably 10 teams at least from the Western Conference this year would be in and only 6 from the East. But it
might have even been more than that, to be honest.
It might have been 11 or even 12 maybe. But because I like it. I personally like how the NBA is going though, because I think Adam Silver does want to change this stuff. So he is trying different things, like the play-in tournament. Yeah.
I kind of like that.
I think the play-in tournament is kind of stupid.
I just like it because then it gives 2 more teams a chance where it's, instead of just giving up tanking once they find out, honestly, it's like, hey, they can still get in, they can still make a run for it kind of thing.
Honestly, I think it just tires out teams, honestly.
Yeah, but you're only talking about an extra game or 2. It's not that big of a difference. For me, they are professional athletes. They're making millions of dollars. So when they say they need a rest for a day, for me, I'm like,
yeah, BS.
Come on, And it's like, I get you're tired, but come on, honestly. Yeah. That's how I am. I don't think that 1 or 2 games makes a difference. Yeah. But it really doesn't, I don't think. Especially once you get in the playoffs, you're kind of like re-energized. It's just, it's go time.
I like it in the sense that, hey, you have to earn your way in, especially because in the West, it's so tight that, hey, 1 game won or 1 game lost, hey, it could drastically change. You could go from an 8 seed to a 4 seed.
I think 3 through 9 or 3 through 8 were 1 game apart or something.
So I think in the West, it was perfect. But East, the final 6 games, I feel like was, all right, well, we already know where, everything's going to be, basically. So.
And that could be like that, and it just depends on the year.
Yeah.
And so that's where it is kind of unfortunate with that. But I don't know. There's a lot of different things that we could go into. I like the way Adam Silver is trying to make changes, though. I enjoy that because David Stern really never did, I feel like. And so I feel like every year he tries to make it, but I don't know. I want to hear what people think. If you guys think that the NBA is trying to make these changes, or if there's something that we didn't even talk about that you think this is the number one thing or number two thing or whatever kind of thing.
I just also feel like, Adam Silver does a lot. And I feel like I know changes are made probably every single year, but it just doesn't seem like it goes into effect ever.
I mean, you see some of the stuff though, like the play-in tournament. You see that, you know. I mean,
like
you
those
see
stuff I see.
Yeah, but even you see like the load management that has gone in effect. So it's like, hey, there has been people that should have won these, but they were out, so they didn't, kind of thing. And so you see some of these. I think for us too, we don't see them as much because it has not affected the Nuggets
as much
lately. And so that's where even like the play-in tournament, if the Nuggets were like the 7th or 8th seed, I'd be like, what the heck, man? Now we have to play again to like get in, kind of thing. And so, but if we were the 9 or 10 seed, nice. We have another chance.
We got a chance,
And so I think that's part of it too. There is some, the refs, they started this 2-minute thing a few years ago. It's nice because they're at least like saying it, but nothing happened. So I'd like to see something else, but I think they are going in the right direction as a whole.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
But do you have any other things that you think like really need changed, or?
No, I mean, I would just say
we could just keep going.
Yeah. My biggest thing is the refereeing, just the consistency of it. Hey, if it was a foul 2 games ago, it should be a foul this game too.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's my biggest gripe with the NBA and why it's so frustrating sometimes for me to watch. And I know I share that opinion with hundreds of other NBA
and I think that's in
fans
every
as well.
sport. I think it's in every sport, honestly.
But
so
if they could fix that would be great.
But yeah, let us know what you guys think. Like we were saying, this is definitely a little different what if thing. And I don't even know if we really answered what if they fix this, what would happen kind of thing.
Yeah.
I guess we kind of said that we think that fans would get more into it, more fans would come. It is a little hard. It's a different situation.
I mean, if they made all these changes, then the league would be the best league ever in the history of sports.
It would be a better, and obviously they're not going to. And there's a lot more problems as well that we could talk about. But let us know what you guys think. We're going to keep doing these what ifs. Please let us know another what if you want us to do it. We are thinking about trying to do a guest what if.
Yeah.
So not sure how it'll work, but we're going to figure that out hopefully soon. And hopefully you guys send us in some different topics and what you guys want to hear.
But hope you guys have a great week. Happy Mother's Day to everybody. We're going to be posting this on Monday, but hopefully
happy Mother's
all
Day,
mothers out there had a good Mother's Day.
Yep. All right. That's all we got. We'll see you later. Peace.